Hi, this is Scott Schrader here to talk from the Parashah Va'era today. Uh, it's an interesting parashah, and I would like to direct you to Exodus 6:28 through 7:2. And here, God chooses Moses to speak. And Moses had a speech impediment. God pleaded or Moses pleaded with God, claiming that Pharaoh wouldn't listen to him. And God picks sometimes the most unlikely people. Moses had a speech impediment, yet he chose him to be his spokesman. Our strength is made perfect in weakness. And Moses really felt weak in this area, felt he couldn't do it. In fact, he often, when God chooses someone, they don't feel that they can do the job, and that's really what God is looking for, because they can't do the job. He doesn't want them to do a job for him. He wants them to do his job. He wants to do uh, his job through them, and so he wants a vessel that is yielded to him, and especially in this case with Moses as a prophet. And so God, after he pleaded with him, God then promoted Moses. He actually promoted him after that, and he had his brother Aaron speak for him. But God would speak to Moses, and then he would tell Moses would tell Aaron what to say, or Aharon what to say, and Aharon would tell the Pharaoh. And so he chooses the most unlikely people for the job. And the problem that Moses felt uh, it was going to be was that Pharaoh was not going to listen to him. And this is an interesting word I wanted to bring up. It's Shema in Hebrew. Shema is a three-letter word, and it starts with the letter Shin. The Shin meaning to provide, or it can mean to consume, but I believe in this instance it means to provide. And it means to provide a birthing. The mem has to do with birthing, water and blood. And so it provides a birthing that then you have the letter ayin, which is the eye, or to see or to understand. A birth is an understanding or seeing. And so hearing actually has to do with seeing or understanding. In when we really utilize it, when we really take it in and we really use what we've heard and respond to what we've heard, there is an understanding that happens. There is a seeing that happens. And so Moses believes that Pharaoh isn't going to listen. He isn't going to get to this place where he's going to see. And so Pharaoh refused to listen in the end anyway, even though Aaron conveyed it to what God said to Pharaoh through Moses. And he wouldn't listen until he was forced to. And God doesn't really always communicate to us the way we want him to, or what we want him to say. He doesn't always say what we want him to say. But it's always wise to listen to his messengers, and his messengers are sometimes awfully, but often not the people that we would think God would choose to bring that message to us, or the ones maybe even we don't want to hear it from. Sometimes God on purpose will bring that person to us to show us that he works in weakness. He works in the unlikely. And but if we listen to him, then we will prosper out of that, and we'll be glad we did. Pharaoh was sad that he didn't in the end. God hardened his heart, um, but I just like to point out too that often God does choose the weak ones. He chooses us. We're all weak. And so that means he can choose you too, just as easily as he can the next person. You might think one person is very articulate or has particular gifting, but God may not choose that one, because then you might think it's that person is the reason that people listen to him, rather than God. God wants us to come in power, in his power. He wants us to come in his grace, and he wants people to listen to him, not us. And he wants people to see him, not us. And so the less we taste of our vessel, so to speak, the less we taste of ourselves, the more that he can use us. And so I just challenge you today to yield yourself to the Lord and let him use you whichever way that he chooses. He might choose to use you in a way that you think you are weak or you do not have talent. Be open to that. Let him choose. He may utilize all those talents that you have as well. I'm not saying that, but be open to allow him to use you whichever way that he would choose for his glory.